So I spent many years writing down very specific goals around how much money I wanted to make, what kind of friends I wanted to have, experiences that I wanted to experience, and travel, places that I wanted to go, and the perfect partner that I wanted to have, and what a life that would be fulfilling would actually look like. And it was a lot of writing those things down and a lot of learning in books and a lot of reading and a lot of trying really hard to get there, and it was very little of actually experiencing those things. And my experience is that how life actually works is completely backwards. That we are completely deceived by this world, and I had to flip everything that I thought that I understood completely upside down in order to actually have those things. What I actually want, and what I believe every human actually wants, is real connection. Not surface level connection talking about the weather, but actual, deep, intimate connection. And when I put that first, this is my experience, when I put that first, and I'll explain what that looks like in a second, when I put that first, all of these things come as a byproduct of that. This is like seek first the kingdom and all else will be given to you. This is not a perfect one-to-one example of seek first the kingdom, but it's a very close idea of what it practically looks like to seek first the kingdom or to prioritize your deeper desires first. And what this means, how we get to actual connection, how I get to actual connection, is through radical honesty or through vulnerability, also combined with the intention or the direction of love. So, what this looks like, I have the perceived negative experience or emotions on this side and the positive on this side. And it takes both of them to actually reach this part. And you'll see that you could probably point to people in your life and see how some people are good at one and other people are good at another or different parts of it. But very rarely do you meet someone who's good at all of them. Me, for example, in this phase that I'm going through right now, I have much more focused on sharing the deeper things of what's going on inside of me that might be negative, where I'm working on including excitement in that, allowing myself to be more excited and not taking something like a call within the business or community that we have so seriously. So I'm going to start over here on this side. Vulnerability and honesty means sharing our actual experience now. It does not mean a surface level thing. It does not mean, oh, I went to talk to this person. It's not that kind of honesty. It's actual honesty with what I'm experiencing right now in this moment. I'll give you a couple of examples. It could be something that I don't like. There's a very common experience that I used to have where I would be, let's call it over the top optimistic or over the top positive, because I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be sad, or I didn't want to be perceived as like someone that was unhappy with the situation. And I can go into more how I learned that from my parents in different ways, but that's not the point right now. The point is I was always be like, yeah, that's okay. No worries. It's all good. Of course, that's okay. Sure, I can join you. Very much like, yes, of course, smiling on the surface, but inside I wasn't actually being honest about what I liked. And I can give you an example from a little over a year ago when I was sitting in an Uber and I was very cold, but I didn't want to ask the driver to change the temperature because I didn't want to disturb him. And I was on this train of like, well, I can just accept my way out of this. And I was basically gaslighting myself and creating a poor experience for no reason. When in reality, how reality actually works is it reflects our honesty, reflects my level of honesty about my desires. And yes, something like the temperature might not be the biggest deal, but it also is a great symbol of how, let's say, ashamed I was of myself, or how much I was gaslighting myself because I wasn't even willing to ask for a simple preference. It didn't inconvenience him in any way to change the temperature, right? And so I was very dishonest in that sense. Now, also judgments. For me, this is a big one. I judge people a lot. And yes, I understand that all judgment of others is self-judgment, but I can only actually correct this when I share it. So it might be for me, for example, telling my friend, oh wow, like when you do that, I perceive you as really arrogant. Like I don't think you should be like that. it seems like you're not treating people kindly. And then that could be a valid reflection for him to receive if he's open to it, or not, and I could be the one. But either way, the point is that I'm actually free to share my judgments. I'm not trying to be a perfect person who doesn't judge other people when I'm clearly experiencing that in my head, this voice that just goes and goes and says good, bad, good, bad. But I'm actually able to share that from a point of like, dude, yeah, this is kind of weird, but like my mind actually really doesn't like when you do this. Just like judgment, failures, sharing something like, I actually don't know what to say right now. I feel like I'm completely retarded or stupid, or I don't know how to communicate to you right now. I feel very embarrassed actually, and I just want to da 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 da, right? Also, shames. Shame only survives in the shadows. The idea of shame is that you have to keep it hidden and that something bad will happen to you if you share it. But when we can share this, of like, for example, I cheated on a past girlfriend one time. If I can actually share that, I can see that it's actually me sharing that is in my direct desire to change. If I keep that hidden, I'm not actually exploring why that happened in the first place, and then I can't get to the bottom of it. Then there's also fear and anxiety, which is a very common one in like social situations, for example, of like, let's say over the top smiling, over the top laughing is something that I experience. And if I can slow down and be like, wow, okay, I just met you and I think you're cool. I want to get to know you more. I'm a little bit nervous because I feel like I have to perform or say something funny or make you laugh or be this cool guy so that you want to stay around me. And I just want you to know that I have these patterns and that that's not who I actually am. Deeper down, I want to connect. And I want to land in a deeper place that's not so surface level, and I want to expose myself so that you can know me for who I actually am, and then you can choose to meet me in that. We can go a level deeper together because those deeper levels, they're always there. There is no thought or no emotion or nothing that we say that doesn't come from a deeper place. It does every single time. And when we're willing, when we acknowledge that, and when I'm able to explore that, in meditation, for example, but in a conversation with someone is how I can get to actual connection. And so that's the idea of this, of sharing my actual experience, of slowing down, knowing that it's all going to be okay, and going inside and then taking that and kind of like turning myself inside out so that people can see who I actually am. So connection is not like physical closeness. This is something that I experienced for many years, was really wanting physical closeness. And even when I got that, it never felt quite like it was full. It always felt like I wanted more, more, more. Like I just wanted physical closeness. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do it. I just want physical closeness. It was actually a mask for me not feeling safe or not knowing how to share what's going on inside of me because I thought it was bad, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's that. Now there's desires. So desires can be, there's a large, let's say, spectrum of desires. There's physical level, surface level preferences, which might be like, well, I prefer to go to bed at 10 p.m. or I prefer my steak medium well. And all these things can be bent. Okay, if I'm a biohacker, which I was for a couple of years, my identity was based on the idea of going to bed at 10 p.m. But, and this is something I had to unlearn. In comparison to, let's say, sleep, something like deeply connecting is way more important. And this is why I live a life that is very unstructured, because these surface level preferences, they actually don't matter that much. They're just a prison that I build to try to make myself feel safe. But when I can be fully honest in the moment now, and I don't have to, let's say, be something specific, I have way more energy. I feel way more free, way more relaxed. And all of these things come exactly as they need to. I'd like to speak about core desires because this is really important, and having clarity on what you actually want and what is actually important is kind of a key to making this whole thing work. A core desire would be something that is universally true. So for the example would be, Like, I want to be loved. I want to be seen for who I am deep down inside, which is why honesty is important, because then I can actually be seen for that. And so you can see how this is coming together. I want to be appreciated. I want to be held in who I am. I want full permission to exist. I want to deeply connect with people. I want to love you, and I want to be loved by you. I want to talk about the things that are really important. I don't want to talk about the surface level things. And so now I'm including language of how I say these things in conversation and how I can actually invite it deeper. And so the idea is that these core desires, our society's basically programmed us to push these down and to focus way more on these. But if we can flip it and we can put these first, so for example, when I go to the coffee shop, if I can connect first with the barista, for example, which is just a silly, easy example, I can actually meet them rather than worrying about if they put the right syrup in my drink. I'm actually creating a way better experience for myself because I will see that I'm giving myself what I want in this now moment. I don't have to wait until I have all of these things. I can have the connection that I want right now. The only thing that it's based on, or the only thing that it's waiting for, is for me to be radically honest or super vulnerable with my experience right now. And then the last note that I'll add on here is with the direction of love, you'll see that your actual experience will occasionally or very often include something that you admire. Let's just take the example of meeting someone at a coffee shop. You meet a new person or you're making a new friend, you'll see that you'll notice something. Like, wow, I appreciate the way that they dress, or they seem cool, or these things that might sound like compliments. If you can trace that and you can bring it a level deeper, you'll see that people actually will feel incredibly seen, and they will almost be taken aback because they won't know what to do with it because it happens so rarely. And when I have calls now with people on the phone and I meet them, it's very often that people are like, whoa, like there's something different here. And so an example would be like, wow, like I feel like you're really cool. I feel like you're really put together. And then bringing that a level deeper might look like something like, like it seems like you put a lot of effort to look good, to like have life together. And I see you, man. I see how how much effort you're putting into presenting yourself and taking care of yourself. I notice that. I see you, man. And using, whatever language you want to describe the same essence of like, oh, wow, I'm actually seeing you for where you're coming from who you are inside, rather than just the surface level things. And it oftentimes, when I'm appreciating or complimenting someone, I want to bring the compliment deeper, but for the sake of understanding, compliment, you can start with that. I want to bring that compliment deeper. So we might start with a compliment, and then the more we connect, the more I can share what I'm experiencing, be clear about what I want, and love the person. And so if you can take one of these ideas and be a little bit more honest and own your experience, but be a little bit more honest in any connection, at work, in your intimate relationships, in family, and a new friend, someone at the gym, you will see how much better your life gets. And if you choose to go radically in on this path of connection tomorrow, for example, you will see that people will love you for it. They will not know what to do. They will want to pay you money. They will want to be friends with you. They will want to invite you to a concert or to coffee or whatever. People will naturally be attracted to you because you're so grounded in who you actually are, because you're so safe to share every single thing, to say the things that most people would never dare to say. And that is what is going to actually create a sense of fulfillment. It's not getting to something in the future. It's not having all these things. It is allowing yourself to be fully you. And I phrased a lot of this in a sense of like what you should do, but this is my direct experience. I spent many years being very specific about these things, and I don't think that's bad. I think that's great to have clarity on these. But these things will not come from chasing them. They'll only come from actually being honest and loving now in this moment. And that's been my experience. The more that I have put this first, put connection first on calls that I have in my community, for example, I have let go of basically all of the sales that I learned and I just connect with people. I tell them what I'm experiencing. I tell them what I desire, and I love them. I see who they are to the best of my ability, whatever I can experience. And it carries us. It carries the business. We have more money than I've ever made in a business before. And I enjoy the process way more than I could ever imagine because there's no pressure. There's nothing that I can say that is wrong. It's all just a continuous exploration. I love you.